some of you are going to remember this. We're going to go to Stat Calc, and we're going to use number 4. Okay, so linear regression, least squares regression equation. So if you hit 4, it's going to default to L1 and L2, which we all should be okay, right? Yeah. We all made sure that our lists were set up correctly.
Well, how do you
wait, yeah, mine didn't do that. I got A, I just have A and B.
How do you get R squared and R?
Right. So we talked earlier about that there's a measure. Remember when Edie was saying that, like, if I look at my history and my science grades, that there really might not be a relationship? Though that R right there is what you have talked about before as being correlation. You do not need those. We're not really talking about that yet. My calculator does them from stat, from when I was teaching the stat class. We can turn it on if you really want it. Do you really want it?
No.
Okay, so you're okay with not having it. So you probably just see these first 3 things, right? Yeah. So there's less to worry about. Okay, so now we see where we get the equation. Now, the part that we want to make sure that we learn is how do I get it in my equation editor so that it'll graph on my scatter plot, right? And I can do a rough estimate on my paper. So if we go to y equals, and you might have in the past just typed it in, but we can get the exact line because your calculator stores everything in its short-term memory. If you click on this key right here, which I call vars, so this is where all of the things that your calculator does are stored as variables, okay? So if I hit, make sure you're in y equals and where it's flashing, I'm going to hit vars, and I want to choose number 5, which is statistics. And when that comes up, you can see that there's things that are associated with x and y. This is all stat part. But then in the middle, there's EQ, which stands for equations. So if I choose that one, and I choose the very first thing, which is regression equation, it's going to copy the equation that we just saw into our y equals. So do that and hit enter.
How did you get the equation?
Okay. So,
Clayton keeps dying.
okay, when you're in y equals,